All right. Unfortunately, I did not update the just ignore this side of the screen. That was not updated. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if OBS is flaking. Couldn't run my Patreon scroll either. So just do me a favor, try to ignore that while I fix at least what you're seeing on the screen. I'm going to try and give me just a second here. Arkansas, I got a lot to say. Give me just a second. Discord was popping for sure. But Arkansas was not for the most part in the second half. We're just going to have to roll with this. Hang on just a second. I don't know what's going on. Everything was wiped on my OBS, so I have no idea what's going on. Let me see if that worked. That worked. There it is. Hogs losing overtime versus Oklahoma State. All right, now it's fixed. First off, before we get started, before we get going here, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Shout out to Patreon supporters who came through big time. I will have that fixed by next week, so the name scroll will happen next week. I will get that fixed. I'll see what's going on with that. Shout out to our sponsors: Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, Same Day Services, Quality Parts, Affordable Outcomes. Yeah, that ad wouldn't work either. I'm going to see if I can get that to work. 501-244-3667. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Check out their link. Hopefully it's there. I don't know. Hopefully this isn't it's definitely an OBS thing. Insurance Max, they cover the entire state, corner to corner, offering business, personal, life, and health insurance, retirement. They shop the best rates for you. Give them a call or check out their link and see what Insurance Max can do for you. All right. Again, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe if you're new. We've had quite a few new people come through. I don't know that I've ever seen a team do so much to lose a game. I mean, last year the offense would just fall flat on their face just because Dan Enos was terrible. The play calling was atrocious. When Kendall Briles 2 years ago, some bizarre play calling. You remember the double reverses behind your 15-yard line? Just weird, goofy nonsense, right? But they still found ways to kind of win games. After all, they did win 7 in Kendall Briles' third year here when he was the offensive coordinator. Last year, Dan Enos was a massive step backwards. Bobby Petrino, without a doubt, is a massive step forwards. I mean, look at the offense just in the last 2 games. However, not being able to capitalize. Some of this falls on bad snaps. Taylon Green, maybe made some not so great reads. Taylon Green, for the most part, I don't know how you put much on him at all. I know we want to look at that interception. I think that he probably should have just taken the sack there, but the better team, it just doesn't feel like one today. Arkansas did everything possible to find a way to shit this game off and lose. They shot themselves in the foot so many times, they just lost both their damn feet. Jackson's got to hang on to the ball. This guy, every time I know he's good. He's going to run. He's going to get 8, 10, 12, 15 yards, but he's going to fumble the damn ball. The bad snaps, right? A couple of drops, kind of hard to fault. Some of that Oklahoma State, just their timing was pretty good, made contact with the player, forcing the incompletion. Really, it's hard to fault. It's just the second half just looked like such a like we stepped into the multiverse, or I don't know. You dominated in the first half. It looked like you might run Oklahoma State out of their own damn stadium. You were the better team, and I don't think, again, the better team won today. Or Oklahoma State is going to be lucky to win like 7 games. Was not impressed. I told you guys, I've been saying it for weeks. Gordon, he's a great back. Top 5, top 8 back in the country. I don't think he's this Heisman finalist. Maybe top 5 is too high. He did not look good today. Oklahoma State run blocking did not look great, although their pass protection was really solid. Arkansas struggled to get constant pressure on Bowman. Not like they needed to do much. Bowman looked like pure crap. If I'm Oklahoma State, I'm panicking a little bit about your quarterback. And again, Ollie Gordon, like, yeah, well, they're going to get into Big 12 play, and he's going to ball out. We know this. We know how this works. This is probably a very average run defense for Arkansas, more than likely when the dust settles at the end of the year, and they just look like a defense full of All-Americans. It helps that they did key on him, but you saw there at the end they weren't even double-teaming the guy. They were double-teaming someone else. They were more concerned about somebody else than Ollie Gordon. It bit them on that play. Arkansas even got help at the end of this game and still found a way to lose this. Now, for everyone who's saying none of this is on Sam, I don't know what you're talking about. You're going to have to explain that to me. You shit the bed in the second half. Arkansas shit the bed in the second half. That wasn't even the same team that came out. What did we just watch in the second half? What do you mean this isn't on Sam? It's always on the head coach. Of course. Yeah, he didn't fumble the ball, right? They didn't have a ton of penalties. This is still, he deserves some smoke on this. It's games like this is why he's on the hot seat to begin with. Figure it out. Well, I bet that was on Sam too. It's up to the head coach to have his guys ready. And you saw how they looked out of the second half. It got so bad. You have a decent lead. Oklahoma State finds a way to get back in the game. Again, thanks to Arkansas mistakes. Take the lead back. I'll give them credit. Taylor Green and Bobby Petrino got Arkansas back in this game. The defense made some key plays. This is absolutely a reflection of Sam Pittman, guys. What was with the timeout after Bowman got hit with the unsportsmanlike? Why did they call a timeout? Maybe I'm mixing that up and I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I literally walked to the kitchen to grab a water bottle, came back out, and I saw that they'd called a timeout after an unsportsmanlike on Bowman. Why? Why did you do that? Again, you got help at the end of this game, and you still shit the bed and found a way to lose this. This is why he is on the hot seat. It's bullshit like this is why he's on the hot seat. Now, this is where it gets interesting. We're about to go over some more numbers and all that. We're going to get into that. You guys know next week we're going to dive even deeper into the numbers. We're going to dive even deeper. These are always reactions, right? That's what these post games are. But we are going to go over the stats. Taylor Green, oh my God. Yeah, he made some mistakes. Okay, he was overthrowing guys. His completion ratio wasn't great. When he rolls out of the pocket, this guy is capable. That Broden pass out of Taylor Green, he was scrambling. The pocket collapses. He moves out. Should have been a touchdown. He dropped the ball. Again, that's not Sam. That's on Broden. Couple of drops today that were just got to have your guys ready. You've got to make the proper adjustments in second half. You've got to make sure you're doing what you need to do, saying the right things, doing the right things at halftime. It's on the head coach to see these guys through it coming out of the tunnel in the third quarter. They did bounce back after trailing, and they tied the game up, which does show a little bit of fight. Am I backing off 6-6? Well, clearly this was one of the games I thought they would win. Should have won. I don't know yet. It's hard. I don't know. Other than these silly mistakes, it does still feel like, and I know we all want to be reactionary. Oh, Pittman's going to be fired in 3 weeks. I know we all want to be reactionary to this. However, Bobby Petrino and Travis Williams gives me hope that these guys might actually squeak a couple out. But they have got to prove it. They've got to prove it. They've got to show me that they can do that. Look at the close games you lost last year. How many decent W's did you get a year ago? We got a super chat here. Let me scroll up. Losers lose. Ty, find a way, says Tercer. T-Dub says, choke and saw. As a lifelong fan and supporter of the program, I am done until big changes are made. Sam Pittman will only lead us to moral victories. Tired of wasting money and time. Just a fair weather fan, I guess. David Dalton with a $2 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't want to sit here and bash Arkansas. It does me no good to do it. It doesn't do me any good to sit here and to bash the head coach. Not that I'm bashing him per se, but it's not good, right? Your growth as a channel, as a content creator, comes from W's. It comes from wins, excitement. It falls on Sam. They weren't ready in the second half. They were not ready in the second half. And again, it's games like this is why he's on the hot seat. They could surprise people because Taylon Green, my God, 10 straight drives of touchdowns against UAPB, and we all said it. Well, that was UAPB. What can they keep doing that? My God. We're about to go over these numbers here in a second. Yeah, they kept doing it. They may not have scored on every drive. A lot of silly, stupid mistakes, bad snaps, fumbles. Again, drop passes. Not a lot of busts on defense. Not a lot of busts. And let's face it, Oklahoma State, even though at the end Arkansas was given an advantage there, but up until that point, Arkansas had allowed Oklahoma State to come back. Arkansas lost this game way more than Oklahoma State won it. Without a doubt. Give me Arkansas 7 times out of 10 in this game. If you can even erase just a couple of those silly mistakes, the fumbles and the bad snaps. Pass rush is they still haven't blown me away. This is 2 straight weeks. I am very impressed with how the run defense, I mean, they held their own and then some. I mean, Ollie Gordon, who, again, I don't think is this All-American Heisman running back, but now that they've got Arkansas out of the way, now he's going to be able to pad some stats. But once they played a decent – think about that, a decent – where's Arkansas rank in the grand scheme of the SEC in terms of talent in the defense in the SEC? But really, not that high. And they struggled to run the ball on Arkansas at home. Yeah, Gordon's overrated, dude. He's overrated. Good back. I would put him third-team All-American. Wouldn't even hesitate to put him somewhere in there, right? But he's not a Heisman. I'm sorry. Secondary playing too soft and no pass rush. Again, I agree. I don't know where the pass rush is not where I thought it would be so far. I agree with that. Hogs crash birthday celebration from the doctor, Ty. Damn it. Guess my priorities are screwed up. After the pick six, who collapsed? That so-and-so collapsed mentally. We ran the ball and did some backyard. I don't know what Derby's trying to say. My birthday went to crap too. We have a couple people whose birthdays were spoiled today. Listen, again, Arkansas lost this game more than Oklahoma State won it. There's no doubt about that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I think Arkansas is the better team. I think Oklahoma State, I don't know if they should be ranked or not. We'll see how they respond moving forward. The question now is, how does Arkansas respond moving forward? Luckily, you got UAB. Luckily, Arkansas has UAB. Kapasky says Texas is going to beat us by 30. I don't know. With this offense, I am impressed with Arkansas's offense. I mean, just with all the mistakes, with all the problems, even with some of the miscommunication, even with some of the overthrows. I mean, you don't put up 648 total yards of offense on accident. It could also be, and I agree with this, it could be that Oklahoma State's defense is just pure garbage, and I think that's fair. But back-to-back weeks, Arkansas has put up bonkers numbers. Now, they're going to start to fall once they get into SEC play. Yes, of course. But so far, they are off to a good start just in terms of moving the football. But it's figuring out how to win these types of games. He hasn't figured it out yet. Sam has not figured it out. At least not the last 2 years. Not the last 2 years. We could talk about, back when Kendall was here, that's different, right? But the last 2 years and the what have you done for me lately argument, it's lose close games against quality opponents. I do think Oklahoma State's a quality opponent. I do. Bowman goes 27 of 48 for 326, a touchdown and a pick. Ollie Gordon, 17 carries, 49 yards for 2.9 yards a carry. His longest run from the line of scrimmage was 12 yards, and with one touchdown. Bowman carried the ball 5 times, 7 yards. Brennan Presley, 1 for 3. Sessi Vahili, if I'm pronouncing that right, he had 3 carries for no yards. Brennan Presley was impressive for them in the passing game. He caught the ball 9 times, 91 yards and a touchdown. Rashad Owens, who was someone they needed to clamp down on, they did a pretty good job. 5 catches, 64 yards. Stribling, 4 for 38. Boy, that penalty by Sorey. Guys, where's your head at? What were these guys thinking? Where's your head in all this? What are you doing? I don't know how many times I said that in the second half. Oklahoma State won in the game of adjustments. That's where they won. And I said that in the halftime Discord. Now we're on to adjustment phase. Now we're into the adjustments part of the game. How does Arkansas adapt? And the answer is not very well. 10 total points scored in the second half. Talon Green, 26 of 46. God, Bobby Petrino's definitely back. 26 of 46 for 416 yards with a touchdown and a pick. Completion numbers, not great. That's not good. That is not good. But he's still able to make big plays with his arm and with his feet. 18 carries for 61 yards. Those numbers were a lot better before the bottom of the fourth quarter. Jaquindon Jackson looked good if he could just hang on to the damn ball. 24 carries, 149 yards, 3 touchdowns. Andrew Armstrong, we knew this dude was going to eat. 10 catches, 164 yards. Centennia, who I still think is being underutilized, but he did have 4 grabs for 78 yards. Broden, 4 for 66. Luke Haas had the only receiving touchdown, 2 catches for almost 50 yards. Tesla had that one great grab. I guess that's all he's good for, 1 or 2 good grabs, and then he just vanishes for 32 yards. Jaquindon, 2 catches for 21 yards. Rodney Hill, 3 for 9. Who was Talon Green in overtime there? Who was he targeting on that wheel route? I missed who that was. Was that Hill? Was that Hill? Man, you can't miss that. You can't miss that. He made some great plays, Green did, and then he missed passes like that. Appreciate everyone being here. Again, make sure you like, share, subscribe if you're new here. I cover the Razorbacks. Patreon is hopping. If Ahmad is in chat, if you would share the Patreon link, that would be awesome. We have a super chat. Cal Poke, so we got a Oklahoma State fan in chat. How about the Cowboys? Couldn't even beat us with an unbelievably biased SEC crew. Dirty play. Absolute poverty. Go home, scrubs. Hey, I appreciate your $5 though, and your view. As if there weren't a couple of horseshit PI calls late in that game. Arkansas handed you that game, and you know it. You know it. You go 7-5 in the SEC, bro. Calm down. Take a seat. Tell Ollie Gordon he's going to be staying home when it comes time to go to New York. Or maybe he won't because he's going to pad his stats in that shitty Big 12. I'm not looking forward to conference play, says David Dalton. TG has never beaten a P4 team. That is correct. Yeah, this is as close to a rebuild as you can get in the portal era. This is as close to a rebuild as you can get in the portal era. And that's what it is. The offense showed that they can move the ball. They can advance downfield. But you got to get out of your own damn way. You get out of your own way, you win this thing by a pretty decent margin. No doubt. You're not going to overtime. Erase these mistakes. You're not going to overtime, man. Yeah, you got bailed out in the fourth. You did. No doubt about it. The clock stopping. Jukic, who clearly was in their back or almost in their backfield. You got bailed out. Oklahoma State, they're not wrong about that when their fans talk about it. They're not wrong. But had you gotten out of your own way until everything, the way it transpired in the second half, had you just gotten out of your own damn way, you win this thing with a blindfold on, man. That is the game of football. Tip your cap to Oklahoma State. Give them a little wink. They know what happened. They know really what happened. If they know ball, they know what happened. The seat just got hotter, says David Dalton. Now you move on. Again, you move on to that daunting SEC schedule. After UAB, this was the game. This was the game that was supposed to be kind of like your cushion. Like if things get bad, oh, well, no, hold on. You did go on the road and you beat a ranked Oklahoma State team. You did do that, right? That was your cushion. You've lost it. You just lost it. And I want to be clear. I'm not putting 100% blame on Pittman. He's not out there snapping the ball. I would ask, what the hell was special teams doing? Scotty, Coach Fountain, year 5, what's going on, brother? You don't have a kicker. You had nobody to replace Cam. This again, I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it. It's games like this is why he's on the hot seat. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. This offense, I do think they're going to do enough. I think they're going to beat someone you would not expect them to beat. I think they can do that. They just have to get out of their own way. You cannot have a collapse like you did in this game. And you do need to give Oklahoma State some credit. They did enough as well. They made the adjustments. Arkansas just didn't make the better adjustments, if they made any at all. The game plan in the third quarter, I don't know what the hell happened. Oklahoma State slapped you in the face a little bit, and you just folded like a cheap lawn chair. What? I mean, you've taken Ollie Gordon out of the game. Bowman can't hit a simple sideline throw. This dude is throwing like 45%. Can't hit anybody downfield. They're getting in their own way too a little bit, and you still can't find a way? With what your offense, with what Bobby Petrino was able to do? Now, I don't think he called a perfect game either. I'm not saying that Bobby called a beautiful 100% great elite game. I'm not saying that either. With what the defense did for you, with what that I think the game plan worked pretty damn well. Hell, the first points they put on the board was a pick six. Oh, y'all are not going to let this guy. We do know what happened. Y'all are losers. And he got exposed like expected. Who got exposed? If you're talking about Green Go back and look at these numbers, my friend. Here's another 5 to go to your NIL to get some actual players. Bro is acting like y'all just beat. Man, you're not very good at this. I'm just going to tell you. I appreciate the super chat, but you. We just lost game of the year so far in college football, says Hog Homer. Turnovers killed us. Mental mistakes. And that is a part of preparation. That's on. Who's that on? Hey, man. You got to tip your cap to Oklahoma State. They're gonna go 10-2, 11-1 in that mighty Big 12 conference. Champion says fire Pittman. Grayson says, oof, another Pitt close loss. Maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they'll figure out how to win these close games. I don't know. It feels like you're going to have to get a pretty big lead. And then, I don't know, come out in the second half and just hope you could keep it. I don't know. The mighty conference has just sent. Oh, man, dude. You do realize Arkansas went 4-8 last year, right? Like a mediocre SEC team at best nearly walked out of your stadium with a dub. Nearly. A team that's as close to a rebuild as you can get in the portal era racked up a shit ton of offense. I don't know, man. I don't know what y'all do from here on out. Good luck. That's all I got to say. But I do appreciate the super chats. I do. This was Oklahoma State's Super Bowl. Did you hear the way Gundy talked about this game? I mean, you would have thought they were playing a playoff team. Arkansas was 3 for 4 in the red zone. Came out with 21 points. All 3 of which were rushing touchdowns. Third downs, they were 11 of 19 like we talked about. 0 for 2 on fourth down. Arkansas was 0 for 2 on fourth down. They had 7 penalties for 71 yards. Oklahoma State, 6 for 60. If I'm looking at this right, there's the stat sheet here from Arkansas saying they put the ball on the ground 4 times, losing 2 of them. Guys, that's just too many. God, 1 is too many. I mean, if this stat sheet is correct, and I know sometimes they'll go back and they'll make some changes. If this stat sheet is right, you put the ball on you turn the ball over. Well, we know they turned it over too much, but you put the ball on the field 4 times. 7 penalties for 71 yards. It's on Sam now to correct this, get it right. Listen, you cut these mistakes in half. You win this game. Get out of your own damn way. You manhandle Oklahoma State if you get out of your own way. Xavier Sori had 13 tackles, 2 TFLs in this one. He also had that silly penalty. How about Mr. TJ Metcalf, 12 tackles. He was flying around. I thought Slaughter did pretty good. I'm going to be curious to see what these PFF numbers look like. Cam Ball, 5 tackles. Arkansas, again, according to their own sheet here, and I think this is correct, 0 sacks. Just 3 TFLs. I think we might have a bit of an issue here with being able to apply pressure without sending extra bodies. And this is something they're going to have to get corrected. They could not get pressure. They could not get pressure unless they were sending extra bodies. Maybe a couple of guys got a little bit of pressure, but according to this, Arkansas's own sheet, on their own sheet, it says quarterback hurries, 0, which is 3 TFLs. It's amazing you had 1 pick at all. That's just because Bowman sucks. Bench Landon, he can't pass rush, says Brady. Throw Rhodes out there. Brett Robinson says, get out of your own damn way. That's right. Get out of your way. You win this one easy. I'm sorry. You do. Cut your mistakes in half. You win by a decent margin. They had the talent. They had more talent than Oklahoma State. We saw the side-by-side. It's in Tusk Talk Patreon. You can go look at it. Arkansas's got more talent. I mean, you were given an extra shot there at the end, right, in the fourth quarter. Like, you got bailed out by some pretty bad officiating, and you still couldn't find a way to win this game. Yeah, so now Sam, moving forward, UAB on the 14th, and then you're at Auburn on the 21st. A&M on the 28th. Tennessee comes to town on the 5th. 3. Now they're even more crucial. Now these games are even more crucial. I don't want to overlook UAB, but I just think Arkansas should win that. I mean, they ought to be 20-point favorites. I don't know a whole lot of – I'm going to have to do a lot of research on them this year. They might be a little bit better than I thought they were, but we'll wait till next week when we start doing the UAB breakdown stuff. It'll be in Tusk Talk Discord, in the Patreon, on the enemy page. You talk about 3 big games. Now it is crucial that you've got to take away one of those. You have got to win one of those 3. If he goes 0 for 3, I don't know what to expect. You got LSU on the 19th, which you're coming out of a bye week after Tennessee. You've got LSU on the 19th. You get a week to prepare for them. That's expected to be a night game, either 5 or 7 p.m. And then you're back on the road on the 26th to take on Mississippi State. This is going to get interesting. I might need to fire up the Who You Gonna Get Tusk Talk page in Discord. We might have to fire that bad boy up. Again, it is a weird situation after this game because you've got to like a lot of what you saw or 80% of what you saw from both the offense and the defense. You've got to like what you saw. You don't walk in there and put up the kind of numbers on accident. On the road, you don't do that. You got to like Green for the most part. His completion numbers could be better. There were some drop passes. It's not all on him. Sometimes his protection broke down. Well, they struggled picking up some of those blitzes. Braun, I'm not going to lie to you, I thought Braun played like shit. I don't, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm picking up on just a couple, 2 or 3 key plays, but I felt like that guy got beat. We said that last year, though, Ty. Said what? No, Brian, I mean, you can't compare Dan Enos and Bobby Petrino if that's what you're trying to do. I mean, again, that offense last year doesn't do anything like what they did today. No shot. I don't agree with Pastor Jay, who's got him 3-9. No, they're gonna win the rest of their non-cons. And then I still like them to get an upset somewhere. Ty, does it worry you that Bowman just missed throws that other quarterbacks will make? Secondary seems sus. He did miss easy throws. I mean, God. There was that drop pick. I think that was that Braxton who dropped that pick? I mean, you did more. Oh, man. You talk about gift wrapping a game. I mean, it's just insane. Wins are going to – I don't know. Razor Swag says refs were awful, of course. Master Reddy says secondary is bad, confused over half the time. D-line is trash, zero pressure. I didn't like the no pressure. I didn't like that. Again, super senior offensive line. The oldest offensive line in college football. The oldest offensive line. Veteran. A lot of starts. I get that. But, man, again, according to Arkansas's own website, they had 0 quarterback hurries. That can't be the case. They shut Ollie Gordon down. They shut that run game completely down. But no pass rush. And again, that is a little bit surprising. Moving forward, they're going to have to figure that out. Because you could tell I thought they were a little hesitant to blitz on some obvious blitzing downs. They wanted to drop back in coverage and give their secondary help. I don't know. The secondary is sus. But I don't think they're bad. I don't think it's bad yet. Oklahoma State is going to find ways to get offense. Okay, they're going to find ways to find offense. You saw the goofy play. It was actually pretty clever. It's pretty fun to watch, actually, if you were playing like EA college football. It was pretty fun. You had to like that if you're an Oklahoma State fan. That little pitch throw. I don't know. I have to go back and watch it. But that was interesting. It definitely threw Arkansas off. They didn't know everybody was lost on that play. They're going to find ways. That's what Gundy does. They're going to do that to just about everyone they play. They're good enough that they're going to stay in some of these competitive games. Arkansas, they're going to find ways to lose these competitive games. Unbiased with the all caps. Come on, unbiased. You know you don't have to all caps it. Arkansas fandom equals find moral victories to help deal with the cold, harsh reality. I'm officially lost on what their wins and losses are going to look like. I don't know. I don't know. This is they got to get out of their own. I want to say it so bad. They got to get out of their own damn way. Brady says we need a proven winner coach. Get Kyle Whittingham. Kale the Well says Landon Jackson was nowhere to be found. Shaking my head. He didn't have a great game. 2 tackles. Jukic had the one of the 3 TFLs. Sori had 2 TFLs. Again, with those 13 tackles. No quarterback hurries. Experience-wise, you won't play another offensive line like that. You won't. Talent-wise, you're going to play far better offensive lines, no doubt. Landon Jackson had 1 decent game and people jumped on him. This dude ain't that damn good. Well, yeah, the Alabama game, and he had a couple other games where he was effective. He may not have had crazy stats, but he was pushing linemen into the play, defending out in the flats really well, hurrying quarterbacks. I mean, he had 13 and a half TFLs last year. I mean, that's not bad. Is he first round? I don't know that he's proven that. Kuiper had him up there simply because of his ceiling. I think that's why he was there. I don't know, but he was absent. Maybe he got a little dinged up and we don't know about it. I don't know. It's good to at least see Jukic get some kind of number with that TFL, but that was his only play. That was his only stat recorded. Yeah, again, I think Sori is your standout player on defense. Jackson with 24 carries, 149 yards, 3 touchdowns. If Arkansas were to win, he would have gotten the gold chain. That little check by Green in the first half, that last rushing touchdown they had, was beautiful. He made that check at the line, handed it off to Jackson, and he ran, I don't know what it was, 15 yards or whatever, 14 yards into the end zone. It was beautiful. This guy averaged 6.2. Jackson did 6.2 yards per carry. Arkansas ran the ball for 232 yards. Again, they threw it for 416, ran it for 232. Armstrong had a hell of a game. 10 grabs, 164 yards. We knew he would eat. We knew he would have an impact on this game. Remember, there was this strange rumor going around about Jackson being a little dinged up. Maybe there was a little more truth to that. You remember how that started. I guess someone reported that Jackson was hurt and was going to miss. Maybe he was a little dinged up, but he still managed to play. South Carolina's up on Kentucky 10-0. What? Caden Jowers, Arkansas taking 10 seconds to spike was atrocious. Dude, it's just game management stuff that Sam is just it's like we say this every year. It's like we have this on repeat. Thomas Nunley says, still believe we can go 10-2. Wow. 10-2 with a post win or 4. That 4-down call to go for it instead of picking up the field goal is BS. I think that comes from, and I appreciate the comment, Aiden. I think part of that comes from the fact that they're worried about their kicker. Scott Fountain didn't go and get them a kicker. Great recruiter, didn't go out and get himself a kicker. Boy, the mistakes on special teams, 5 years in. The Sarge says, same Kool-Aid, different flavor. Northern Illinois, by the way, is on top of Notre Dame 13-7. I almost feel like I need to refresh. That can't be right. That can't be right. Oh, my God. 13-7. 2:17 left to go in the first half. Baylor getting squashed by Utah 23-0. God, why did Utah go to the Big 12? Ole Miss on top of Middle Tennessee State 16-9. So far, no good games other than Notre Dame. That might be worth a watch. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. I appreciate everyone for being in here. Hit the like button. I am reading chat as much as I can. Super chats will take priority. Make sure I read them all. David Dalton, I missed this one. David Dalton said, go buy a kicker. Gonna have to do something, man. Again, I appreciate all the super chats. Tercer, Mr. T-Dub, David Dalton, even Cowpoke Ranch. Caden Jowers, Thomas Nunley. Donovan Irish with the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. He says, I think the main thing is chemistry. Most of these players have only been with each other since spring, and that is fair. I mean, you're not wrong. They're playing for film, not for Arkansas. Well, I mean, I don't know how. I don't know. I think that's going to be the norm for transfer portal team. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But Green is certainly, I mean, if you've seen the camaraderie, I don't know that they're just playing necessarily for the NFL for film. I don't know if that's necessary. I mean, of course they all are. But I don't think it's as much of a factor. I really believe at the end of the day they wanted to win that game. Just couldn't get out of their own way. Ty, I appreciate you as always. I'll always pull up for you, but buckle up. It might get painful. Michael Kerper, Auburn is struggling too. We win that game and we are back on track. Again, Arkansas, they're going to beat someone. Hell, they might beat a couple teams that have no business losing and still find a way to not make a bowl game. I don't know. There's something about this team, and it's what we've seen the last 8 quarters, other than them, again, the fumbles and the mistakes. But the offense has shown they can move the ball. Now, being able to do that against UAPB, being able to do that against a Big 12 opponent is not the same as doing it in the SEC. And again, it is still kind of wait and see, because guess what? That's college football. It is wait and see until you start into the grind of the SEC. Yeah, California's on top of Auburn 14-7. That's at Auburn, is it not? Alabama takes on South Florida tonight. Who cares? I say that. Watch it be a pretty competitive game. Don't forget predictions in Discord if you guys haven't already. Get your picks in. TG got prime Drew Brees accuracy on the run, and he got my accuracy in the pocket. But he is an upgrade in my opinion. Would you say he's an upgrade to what we saw last year? Would you say this offense is an upgrade? I think so. My fear is them not being able to get out of their own way. That's the fear that I have with this team. I think they're going to be pretty damn effective. They're not going to have 600 total yards of offense every week. That's not going to happen. They're going to face some adversity. Hell, there might even be a game you expect the offense to blow up, and they don't. They shit their pants. I find that unlikely with Petrino, but you never know. It's just so it's more, it pisses you off more because you know the outcome of this game. If you don't fumble the ball, if you had better snaps from the center, if you're not getting hit with these silly penalties, if you're not catching 7 penalties for whatever it was, 70 yards, 10 yards per flag, if you're again, it doesn't even have to be eliminate all mistakes and you win this game. It's as simple as cut down on half of them and you walk out of the stadium with a decent margin of victory and a great win against what will probably be a playoff contender, maybe, if they can get past the rest of the mighty Big 12. Justin Corral says, should be 2-0. Feels that way. Again, it doesn't feel like the better team won this game. It just doesn't. Feels like the team that shot themselves in the foot repeatedly could not find a way to finish. We looked elite in the first half. I seem to remember that last year, getting off to some pretty good starts and then completely folding like a cheap lawn chair in the second half. That's the difference between bad teams and good teams, right? Not folding. Once you get slapped in the face, once you get punched in the gut, being able to come back. That's what decent SEC teams should do. I don't know. Sam's game management. Tony Brown says, Danico Slaughter confused me. He will be great for a few plays, then questionable the next. Derby says, TG is damn good. I thought outside of the pocket when he's running, like someone said in chat, he is dangerous with that ball in his hands. He's dangerous. He's got to be a little bit smarter with the ball. He's got to bring it down a little bit. He was almost overthrowing everybody. Just seems to happen often with Pittman teams. Close games always seem to end like this, as Kyle wrote, especially the last 2 years. We fold like laundry most of the time. Today, no different. Well, again, they did it last year. Did it some the year before last. Unforced errors. That's a good way of putting it, Mike. Chris Floyd says, who cares if Green can run? He sucks as a passer. Well, if you're talking to me, I was talking about what he was able to do out of the pocket. And he delivered some pretty nice passes in the pocket. And there were, I don't know, there were a couple times, more than a couple times, where it felt like he had all day to throw that football. I thought the pass protection, it seemed like, for the most part, was pretty decent. Patrick Smith says Green made mistakes, but Taylor Green can't stop his receivers from dropping the ball. Yeah, there were some key drops. That Broden drop in the end zone, oh my gosh. And it was actually a really well-thrown ball by Green out of the pocket on the run. It looked not quite like the Centennia touchdown in the, what was it, the last scrimmage in spring. You remember that? Great highlight. Beautiful throw on the run. It looked from Green's perspective like a similar kind of move. He could do that. He is a capable quarterback when he's on the run. But you are going to play far better teams. And like a caller said when I had QB Spotlight on, when was that, Thursday? What did that caller say? He said, you're going to play teams, and he named off all these SEC teams on the schedule that are better than Oklahoma State. You're going to have to play them at home and on the road. Again, that's going to be a big test. We keep doing this for Green. It's like every week, well, now he's got to pass. We saw what he did against UAPB. Could he do it against UAPB, against anybody? What can the offense do? He proved everybody wrong, 10 for 10, touchdowns. Great offense, right? Petrino doing everything in terms of dialing up the right plays, doing what needs to be done. Well, can he do that against Oklahoma State? And then he does it. Yeah, he makes some mistakes. Not all of them on him. Yeah, putting the ball on the floor or on the field. The interception, not a perfect game. Got to remember you're on the road. I will say Oklahoma State was a quality opponent, absolutely. But now the test for Green is like, all right, you've passed these first two tests for the most part. Not flawless, but you passed them. You have checked those boxes. You put a lot of doubters. They're not talking as loudly other than the loss itself. Now you got to do this in the gauntlet of the SEC, and that's fair. It's fair for both sides who are like, what the hell? He's passing all these tests. Why do we keep doing this? Why aren't we just buying in? And it's fair for the other side that's saying, yeah, but he's got to get through the gauntlet of the SEC, and that is fair. 100%. Smock says, I got us at 7-5 still. I'm not even going to debate against that. I don't know. It's I hate to say it, it's the head coach. Do you put Can he put together, can we get a better finished product on the field than what we saw tonight? Obviously, we're speaking to the mistakes. Michael Kerper, nope, already read that. That throw was insane, Reefer Conway says. Kerper, this is a good point. This was a wake-up call. Learn from our mistakes. If you're going to do it, you do it now, right? If you're going to get some ugly mistakes, you do, and they're going to happen, you get them out of the way now, and you take it back to the film room, and now you can discuss. Now you can break down what exactly happened and what you did right and what you did wrong. You have quality film now because you just played a quality opponent, and you know to cut down on these mistakes. But again, it's not getting any easier. Rodney Hill would have walked into the end zone untouched from that wheel route. Great call. Yeah, that call by Bobby. Yeah, and that was just a bad throw, and that's what I'm talking about. Green, there was definitely some bad from Green. Absolutely. Again, it wasn't a flawless game on Green's behalf. I see the comment section filled with if talk. Well, it's not to say that some of them don't have a point. And that is the game of football. You make mistakes, you make enough of them, it's going to cost you. Even if the better team doesn't win, it's going to cost you. You've got to clean those mistakes up. But what gives me, if you want to talk about the pros, it's Petrino as a coordinator. I got a lot of trust in him. The guy I think he called a really good game. Travis Williams. That defense, for the most part, up until the end, did enough to win that game. Special teams mistakes, the offense losing rhythm, again, the bad snaps and the fumbles, so on and so forth. It really put the defense in bad spots. But I have faith in Travis. I wouldn't want anybody else as a defensive coordinator right now. Travis deserves a lot of credit. Yeah, and they deserve a lot of, what the hell. They had some what the hell moments. Singleton should have played in the second half. Well, that would have been silly. That would have been silly based on what Green did in the first half. It's not all on Green, guys. Green wasn't snapping the ball. Green wasn't dropping the passes. I mean, come on. That's silly. Let's not do that. Don't even get me started already. Don't get me started. We're not doing the Jefferson Criswell thing again, okay? God. Clean some things up. I agree. Clean some things up, and you win this game, man, for sure. But that is the game of football. They didn't, and therefore they lost the game. Mr. T-Dub says, I trust Bobby Petrino. I don't trust Sam Pittman or Taylor Green. TG is who his stats say he is. I don't know, man. I don't know that I fully agree with that, Tim. I think he did a lot to win this game. His completion percentage is not great, as we mentioned. The guy had close to 500 yards of offense. What are we talking about? He had close to 500 yards of offense. Again, his completion percentage isn't great. Some of that is the Bobby Petrino, like he's going to dial up a lot of passing, and I don't think he's afraid. He trusts his quarterback. I'll tell you who was at Jordan Anthony. Taylor Green and Jordan Anthony were not on the same page. But yeah, you're talking about a guy who had close to 500 yards of offense. And we're talking about Malachi Singleton. Come on. As if everything was on Green. I don't know that I buy that. Ty, Green dropped the ball over and over. It's on him. LOL. Sean, would Malachi have had the kind of production today that Green would have? No. Oh, God, we're already 2 games in, and you guys are already on the oh, my goodness. But, T-Dub, do you not think some of that goes to Pittman on management? Are we not looking at, I thought pass protection was good, but it wasn't always good. Are we not looking at some of the drop balls? Are we not looking at Broden dropping that ball in the end zone? I don't know, man. The guy had almost 500 total yards of offense. That's doing enough to put your team in position to win these games. The end of the game, Jefferson or Green deserves some criticism. I'm not saying that he doesn't. I'm not saying he's a Heisman candidate. I'm not saying that. Ty, what's wrong with DeBinion? I don't know. Yeah, I don't even think. Did he get a single carry? I don't think he did. No, Rodney Hill had 4. And Jordan Anthony had that 3-yard. Of course, Taylor Green, 18 carries, 61 yards. I think it's convenient to hate on the guy at the helm at quarterback, to put it all on him. And again, to be fair, he deserves criticism. But, man, he did enough to put Arkansas in position. Special teams didn't help him out. Jaquinton Jackson fumbling the ball didn't help him out. The bad snaps did not help him out. We have to look at again, this kind of goes back to the Chad Morris stuff. After year one, when I said Chad Morris deserves quite a bit of criticism after year one, and I had probably 1/4 of chat coming at me about that. Didn't like what I said, and I think the same thing applies here. He deserves some criticism, but I'm looking at the head coach. I think I'm fine with Taylor Green at quarterback. I'm 100% fine with Taylor Green at quarterback right now, until he shows otherwise. But he put him and Bobby Petrino and Jackson, we got to give him credit too, and Armstrong. Those guys did enough to put this team in position to win this game. Special teams failed them. And the defense did crumble. Let's not sit here and act like special teams was perfect either, especially in the second half. Taylor Green's not playing special teams. He's not blocking. He's not the one snapping the ball. He's not the one catching the ball, and he's not the one playing defense. Put in Criswell 2.0. We're right there already. He does deserve criticism. I agree with that. He didn't play, when those passing numbers, the numbers are good in terms of yards, completion not so great. Punter was good. I'm glad you pointed that out. My God. Devin Bell, 3 punts, 137 yards. All 3 of his punts went inside the 20. Good for almost 46 yards a punt. He had a 57-yard punt in this game. That is wild. They don't have a kicker. Kyle Ramsey was 1 of 3. They're in trouble there. Puts you in an even more bad situation when you're driving. Do you have faith that your kicker – do you have faith that you're going to go get points one way or another? No, you don't. You don't have a kicker. I think he's got an okay leg. He did hit a 45-yarder. Accuracy just seems to be off. I mean, listen, like Courtney Mims said, and I think she's right, there's a reason why they hid him. There's a reason why they hid the kickers from the media. There's a reason. They don't have a kicker. They've never done that. They've never done that since Pittman's been there. If Bobby is head coach, do we win, Ty? Well, I don't know. Brian, I mean, that's living in hypothetical land. I don't know, man. Maybe. Welcome to Tusk Talk membership, Fabian Kane. Ty, am I missing something with Singleton? He's nowhere near as good as Green, at least with Criswell. He was somewhat close in some practices to KJ. Listen, Malachi had some pretty good, I was there. I was there through spring and fall camp. Didn't miss but maybe 2 days. Malachi had some really strong weeks, but at no point was he ever a competitor as a starting quarterback, guys. At no point. Could that change this year if you have another game where you're fumbling the ball and making bad decisions? I could see Bobby pulling his chain a little bit. I could see that. Pulling the leash. Maybe. But it'd have to be consecutive. And it would have to be on the string of losing, right? You got to do something. Maybe you try another quarterback. Man, I could see that being, but I don't think so. Green, there was no competition as to who the starter was. None. But I'm not saying Malachi's trash. Not at all. Malachi looked pretty good in camp. He had one bad week coming out after the second fall scrimmage that nobody got to see. Do we miss James Swope says, Ty, did we miss Little yet? Oh, my God. And something tells me you're going to miss him some more as the year goes on. Not on coaches. Rico, here's the problem. It's on coaches to make sure their guys are ready. They were not ready in the second half. I hear you. They weren't the ones fumbling, but you still had 7 flags, 70 yards. The game management by Pittman seemed odd. The timeout after the taunt penalty on Bowman, I still don't know what the hell that was about. Maybe I'll get an explanation. Couldn't respond. Oklahoma State came out in the second half, made the better adjustments. That has to go on coaching as well. I just disagree. I agree and I disagree. Coaches aren't the one out there on the field. That's it. That's fine. That's perfectly reasonable. That's a perfectly reasonable statement. Coaches aren't the ones out on the field. You're not wrong. But it's also on the coaching staff to have these guys ready. It's on the coaching staff to make the proper adjustments. It's on the coaching staff to respond. And they did a little bit in the second half. They came back. They tied it up. I don't know. It's Sam Pittman that I have a hard time. That to me is the whole, I feel like is holding this team back. I really do. Game and just clock management. I don't know. Yeah, I just disagree, Fabian. I don't think it's solely on the players. I think that's kind of absurd. Again, it's on the coaches to have these guys ready. Who won the adjustment war in the second half? What happened in the second half? Didn't seem like the coaches had them ready to respond. That's on the coaching staff. 100%, man. It's just sad to see us blow a game like this. Then we have folks like Silverman in here thinking OK State is the better team, which is lies. Yeah, Oklahoma State's not the better team. I'm sorry. They're just not. I mean, Arkansas just made enough mistakes to allow Oklahoma State back in the game. They should not have won. I agree. Ty, I love you, but you are wrong about Singleton. Singleton is the best quarterback on this roster. The only reason TG is the starter is because Bobby brought him here. What? You don't think if he thought Malachi was better that he wouldn't start Talon Green or start Malachi? Talon Green fits what Bobby wants him to do. In this offense, with the kind of production that you got today, listen, man, I was at camp, okay? I was there. Malachi had strong weeks, but Talon Green was better. Period. Talon Green was better. He's faster, moves better with the ball, made some pretty nice throws. Malachi's good. He's a different type of quarterback. But Talon Green is in my opinion, the better quarterback in this offense. I don't know. I want to know what evidence do you have that suggests Malachi is better that I don't? You tell me. Because I was there. All right? I was at camp, spring and fall camp. Talon Green, and it's not to say Talon didn't have some rough weeks. They all did. No quarterback was flawless every single practice, every single week. But Talon Green absolutely fits this offense like a glove. I've said decision-making, overconfidence at times in his arm. Those are things that are going to hold him back a little bit. I thought when the pocket collapsed, he kind of panicked, didn't know what to do a little bit. But you know what? Saw Malachi do that plenty in fastball. Saw it happen plenty. Where he's either just throwing the ball out in the flats, struggling to get to his check down, struggling to get through his reads. And it's hard to say. Sometimes it just doesn't. What happens in camp doesn't always translate onto the field. Sometimes you get guys that are actually better when you get them in game time. I'm just simply asking you, what evidence do you have that suggests that Malachi's better? That's all I want to know. Yeah, I don't know. I think Fabian just wants to argue. No one's saying that none of that stuff happened, man. But the coaches have to have these guys ready. I know you're angry and you're angry at the players, at what you see on the field, but it's in that coach's office too, my friend. Green moved around in the pocket pretty good to me. I agree, Brian. Put in Singleton. We're already there. Damn, we're already there. Game 2. We're already there. Put in Malachi. God. Malachi would not have made some of these throws today. I can tell you that right now. Now, Malachi's a different quarterback, and he offers – I think he could be stellar. I really do. But I think based on what we've seen through camp and what we've seen through 2 games, Talon Green is the guy at quarterback. Do you feel like it's T. Will's fault that he didn't adjust? Yeah, I think he deserves some criticism. Coach's office. That's everybody. Caden says, stopped Ollie and still lost. Ain't that a son of a... You did what you need to do against Ollie Gordon. Watching the third quarter sucked. I like Singleton for last year's team. I don't know that anybody would have been good last year's team, Kelly. I hate to break it to you, man. I don't know that any quarterback would have been good last year. I'm not saying TGE should be benched. Not saying he didn't put up a lot of yards. When it mattered, he couldn't do it. That's all. This is 100% on Sam Pittman. He's a proven head coach. Hard to play above bad coaching. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I certainly saw a lot of, Oklahoma State did not account. I thought it was strange that they were playing so far off the ball in the first half. And Talon Green was able to take complete advantage of it. And, I don't think anyone else moving forward is going to do that. He's going to get tested, and I think he's going to have some bad games. I think he's going to have some games that are questionable. I'm not sitting here telling you that I don't believe he's an All-American. I'm not saying that. But he's certainly the guy for the job right now at Arkansas. I think he's gonna have some games that are questionable. I don't know that it's strange to me that we're putting this all on him when it's like we're not taking into account pass protection was mostly good until it wasn't. The drop passes. I mean, there's just things that are outside of his control, and he did make some bad throws. And you're not wrong. No pick six if Broden catches a touchdown. Yeah, you're exactly right. That pick six doesn't happen if Broden catches that ball. I mean, like everything went Oklahoma State's way up until the bottom of the fourth when you had the refs really goof that up. Turnovers killed us first half because we needed to score as much as possible before we got winded. This game goes to show you how much better the SEC is than the Big 12. Oklahoma State was picked to be top 3. Yeah, I mean, Arkansas is at best, what are they? I don't even know if I wouldn't even say they're middle of the pack. I don't know what they are. Like, talent-wise, we know they're bottom 5 of the SEC. And Oklahoma State is behind Arkansas. So, think about that. Gundy is kind of their X factor. Gundy is their X factor. I mean, I think he's just a hell of a coach. You got to give him credit. We had the momentum and basically walked over to their sideline and gift wrapped. Yeah, you're right, Derby. Again, I agree, Fabian. There are plenty of things that just went Oklahoma State's way. Okay, that was Slaughter that dropped that pick. Okay. Rico says we all love Matt Jones, but TG is better to me. Oh, I'm not going to go that far yet. I'm not going that far. Matt Jones was him. We got outcoached, and I think that's absolutely right. I think Arkansas got outcoached, especially in the second half and in overtime. They got outcoached. I couldn't agree more. Listen, we're not going to all agree on everything. I just got to disagree with Taylor Green, I think, did enough to win this game. I think there are plenty of other factors as to why you lost this game. The snaps from the center. I mean, we can go down this list over and over. It's not on TG, and no, I don't think Malachi gives you a better shot at winning this game. I just don't. He's a good quarterback, and I think Malachi, he might get it. He might, who knows, if you blow out UAB next week or you got Louisiana Tech, maybe you will get to see him and watch him. We've seen a little bit. I mean, he was 80% against UAPB. Maybe that's the sample size some of you guys are using to say that Malachi's better, but that's a far smaller sample size than what Green has had, right? Malachi is a capable quarterback, very capable. But again, I think Green is the guy for the job. Until he's not. That's how this works, right? Until he completely proves that he's not. And who knows how this plays out. It's still very, very early in the season. But so far, for me, TG's the guy. 100%. TG's the guy. But this falls, in my opinion, it's got to come down to the execution on the field by the players, of course, the mistakes, but also coaches getting these guys ready. And again, that second half is just such a shining example of what the hell of what's going on with Arkansas football the last 2 years. Tell me it's not. The second half is like that's almost not a microcosm, but that's everything you need to know about Sam Pittman in 23 and now so far it looks like in 24. And why his ass is on a hot seat. I think most of us would agree with that, right? That's the thing we could all agree with. I would say most of you would agree with. Sam Pittman's ass, that seat did not cool off today. So that's what he's got to deal with moving forward. And you've got a very daunting SEC schedule coming up. What can the university do to fix the football program? Everything else seems to be in solid state. Well, I don't know, man. I could say one thing. I'm going to have 100 people tell me I'm wrong. I don't know what's going on with the NIL. I mean, you start there. Giving Sam a fifth year, debatable. We'll see what he does with it. But again, I don't know that 6-6 he should keep his job if they somehow find a way to get to 6. I don't know. You might need to make a change right there. The ghost of Chad Morris now haunts our second half. That's pretty yeah. I'm gonna say this today. The team let Pittman down. Oh, brother. They let each other down, Brian. It wasn't just the players, my friend. I mean, if that's the case, then why are we even talking about replacing Sam? I guess it's never Sam's fault. That's just not how this works. Come on. Come on, chat. All right. I do appreciate everyone. Super chatters, we had a number of them. I appreciate you guys. I hope I didn't skip any of them. I don't think I did. I think I got them all. Yeah, it looks like I got them all. I appreciate that. All the super chats. Even the Oklahoma State fans who came in and gave me $10. How about that? Timothy says, why is it every time the camera turns to Sam Pittman, he always looks confused? Did you see him sneak that middle finger? That was pretty good. Ty, not the doctor. What? Football wins, losses. It's football season. Fans, let's get it. We'll be all right. Okay. Thank you. I don't even know what you're trying. Dominican Republican. Ty, not the doctor. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll be back next week. I think we're going to get Courtney Mims on. We're going to get Courtney in here next week. We're going to have her response. I'm really looking forward to what she has to say. I might try and bring on, maybe we get QB Spotlight on again. He nailed it on Bowman. He nailed it. He hit the nail on the head about Alan Bowman. That guy, you talk about, I'm kind of amazed he got to 326 yards passing, to be honest with you. 27 to 48. He looked terrible. Yeah. All right. Shout out to the sponsors: Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, same day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than best results. Emergency service 24/7, 365 days a year. Give them a call today at 501-244-3667. Check out their link provided for you down below. Insurance Max, business, personal, life and health insurance, retirement. They shop the best rates for you, covering all four corners of our glorious state. Again, that's Insurance Max. Check out their link for you down below. See what they can do for you. Again, we can just agree to disagree on some of the quarterback talk. I think that's kind of I don't know. I'm a little bit surprised, but not really. We're already on to the put in Singleton. We're already there. That's wild, and I don't know why. Not yet. I mean, maybe once we get into SEC play, then we'll have a better idea of what he is. I don't know. But I do appreciate everybody. Make sure you like and share on your way out. Check out Patreon. It's been rocking. We do have the Enemy Insider Patreon page. Go check that out. If you're a Patreon supporter, if you're not a Patreon supporter, consider joining. I don't run ads on these lives. I don't do it. I do it after when I'm done. I'll do it, but not during the live show. So, hey, if you want to be awesome and help further support your boy, do it right there. You check out that link. Also, consider joining the Tusk Talk Discord. A lot of fun in there. Not so much today. I mean, it was still fun. Even when we lose, we find ways to have fun with it. But right there's the link to that as well. All right, that's going to do it. I'll see you guys next week. And looking forward to the comments after this. I'm sure they're going to be fun. But I will see you guys again next week. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of college football. I don't know. It's kind of hard to enjoy the rest of your Saturday, but, try to make the most of it, I guess. All right, I'll see you guys later. Be good.